for those about to rock. That's you today. Big tribute lesson to the great Malcolm Young today. And this is like a killer tune. And we're mostly going to be looking at Malcolm's parts, not all of the lead solos and stuff from Angus. I might tackle those another time. But there's some amazing stuff to learn in this song. It's kind of a little different to a lot of acdc stuff. It's this very slow, kind of menacing 16th note-y kind of a groove. Very, big sound. Quite a few overdubs I think I can hear on the original recording, but it's the one part itself is really nice. Obviously, I'm using my Malcolm Young Gretsch here. I've used a little more distortion than what was on the original recording, particularly the intro thing there, just because I'm kind of covering two guitar parts, and with just the one cleaned up guitar, it sounded a little thin. So if you're playing this as a Malcolm and Angus kind of a part, you want to back the distortion right back, because there's really not a lot on either of the guitar parts. It's together they give you this real kind of heavy sound. So let's start off by having a look at Angus's intro part. Okay, that's that little intro there. Real classic thing, this one. Firstly, to note, obviously it's finger style. So rather than using a pick, we're using our fingers, mainly thumb, first finger, and second finger. So thumb is playing the third string, first finger is playing the second string, and our driving finger is playing the thinnest string, okay? Now, we want to get used to this little kind of grabby motion, first of all. The first chord that we need is a B major triad, which looks like, I guess, a D chord shape with the third finger on the root note, which is the note B, 12th fret, okay? So first and second fingers will be in the 11th fret. So once we can actually do the chord, we got to get used to this grab. Now, what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the grab is that it's like, it's playing the notes of the chord, and then the fingers go straight back onto the strings afterwards. So you want to really work on just having the chord that I'm not doing any releasing with that chord shape. It's all in the pick and hand, okay? So the fingers are resting on the strings now. I grab the chord, and then I put the fingers straight back down. Try and get used to that motion. Eventually working on the speed of doing that. Now, it's not just the speed you need to work on, because the really killer thing here is the accent. So if I just played that first chord without any accent, doesn't sound anything like the first bar of that riff, does it, at all? So what we're after here is this. Okay, so I'm still playing even 16th notes, but I'm accenting some. So 1 E and up, 2 E and up, 3 E and up, 4 and 1 E and up, 2 E and up, 3 E and up, 4. Okay, that's really killer thing, is to get used to this count of 1 E and up, 2 E and up, 3 E and up, 4 and. Okay, now after that we go to a minor chord. So this has gone from a B major triad, goes to a B minor triad. Okay, so we have to have a swap. Now it could be that you play the major chord like that. Okay, sometimes I think it's easier to start with a minor chord and slide first finger up. So it's still the same. I find it to be, I've got to be honest, I find this really difficult, but a little bit, because all of the rest of it is, those two fingers are staying down, it does kind of make sense. But personally, I think I tend to find it easy to go for the finger swap, but whichever one works for you. Okay, so we got the B, then we go to the B minor, okay, which would be 11th fret, 12th fret, 10th fret, second finger, third finger, first finger. Now, little finger's going down on the 14th fret. You want to leave all of those other fingers there, though. Little finger down on the 14th fret. Then it's going 14 to 12. I'm saying the 14, 12 rather than just straight to the 12, because there's a little accent on it. Okay, so we've got one bar of this. 1 E and up, 2 E and up, 3 E and up, 4 E and up, 1 E and up, 2 E and up, 3 E and up, 4 E and up. Okay, Okay, so it's really about getting those accent passages, right? So you want to get, first of all, just used to this grabbing motion so it feels smooth and your fingers aren't kind of getting hooked into the string or catching. So you want to get used to that first, right? Then get with the chord. Just even first of all, then just be able to work on 16th notes at the right speed. Then have a go. I wouldn't even bother changing chords until you can do that consistently. You've got the accents and all of that, then think about. Okay, we're now down to where the heaviness really starts. For me, it's when Mel comes in with those chords underneath the riff that it just really, it's like, feels so menacing and strong and just awesome on every level. So worth noting as well that the riff stays the same pretty much through that whole thing. It just at the end it stays on the last chord, but you get a few kind of clashes in there. But you know, especially if you listen to them in headphones, so you can hear the left and right guitar parts real clearly. It's a fantastic exercise on hearing the way their parts kind of work together, sometimes clashing, but in a way that makes it just awesome. So we're going to start off with a B power chord. So first finger in the 2nd fret of the 5th string, 3rd finger in the 4th fret of the 4th string, and little finger in the 4th fret of the 3rd string. Standard B5 power chord. I'm going to take you through the chords first of all, actually, and then I'll talk about the rhythms because it does some clever things. So we need the B chord, we need a G chord, which I'm pretty sure is just 2nd finger playing the 3rd fret of the thickest string, muting the 5th string, and then open 4th and 3rd strings, so it's a G. Then move that 2nd finger down 1 fret to the note F sharp, 3rd finger goes down on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, so we end up with 2nd fret, mute, open, 2nd fret, to D with an F sharp bass, to an E. E5 power chord, we don't want to be playing any of the strings, just the thickest 3 for, at least for the beginning. Later on you might want to play a bit fuller, but not at the beginning. So what's happening is there's kind of 2 different approaches and they alternate between the rhythms of the 2. The first time, the G chord comes on beat 4, the D with the F sharp comes on beat 1, and the E chord comes on the last 16th note of beat 1, so the up. So the second time through, the B is held for a whole bar, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and a 2 and. Okay, so the G on beat 1, 1 and a, 2 and, down to the E. Okay, so alternating between those 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and a 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and a 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the first couple without this B with an A bass, which we're going to introduce right now, along with a little bit of picking. So once we're through that very intro, you've got all of the chords except for this B with an A bass. So we're going to play a B chord, then just lift off first finger, and so we've got the open A, 3rd and 4th fingers are staying where they are. So 1 and a 2, 3. Okay, that's the count. 1 and a 2, 3, 4 and 1 and a 2. So now we're picking out notes. So on the G, we're playing thicker string, 4th string, 3rd string. Then on the D with the F sharp bass, we play the same pattern, thicker string, 4th string, 3rd string, to the E chord. Okay, it's exactly the same pattern, just displaced the second time round. Okay, the same picking pattern. So we end up with this: 3, 4, 1 and a 2, 3, 4 and 1 and a 2, 3, 4, 1 and a 2, 3, 4, 1 and a 2. Okay, you don't have to really mash it out, but again, just in that little bit before it all kicks off, you know, doing big chords. G, again, ACDC G, so 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the thicker string, muting the 5th string, open, 3rd fret, 3rd fret. Just checking the tune. This lovely guitar sounds incredible. It goes out of tune quite a lot. D with an F sharp bass. Okay, so I just play a full D chord there, and I'm using my thumb to grab over on the F sharp bass and mute the 5th string. To E. Now this one, very common ACDC trick, play the full E chord and just relax the first finger. much better. So that part is also what's used for the choruses as well. Okay, so for those ropey singing. You get the idea, hopefully. Okay, now onto the verse chord progression, which is this. It's just killer. This is rock rhythm guitar at its finest. So we got a B chord. It's a B5 power chord still, but if you happen to catch a little bit of that second string, it doesn't sound terrible there. So, but I think it's the power chord. And the gliss up, like right up the neck. Don't be afraid to move that right up. And then we've got this A6 sus4 or a D/A, depending on how you want to look at the harmony there. Nothing on the thicker string, open 5th string, 3rd finger in the 4th fret of the 4th string, 1st finger 2nd fret 3rd string, and 2nd finger 3rd fret 2nd string. Okay, so nothing, open, 4th, 2nd fret, 3rd fret. Okay, so it's a C, looks like a C-shaped D chord for those that are into your cage system stuff. We're playing that 3 times, and then to a regular A chord where we're using 1st finger bar to bar the 2nd fret strings 4, 3, and 2. And then we do a very quick A, E. Okay, so you're going to have to make sure that your A to E jump is fairly swift. It's just a 16th note apart. G, E, B. An interesting thing to note here is the rhythm. It's actually a little different to what I thought it was in my kind of musical mind. I've heard this song a million times, so I kind of thought I knew how it went, but when I was listening to it closely for the doing a transcription, there was a couple of bits I'm like, oh, hang on, slightly different to what I thought. We've got a B chord to start off with, and this little gliss up is happening on beat 2. So 1, 2, E, and 3. We've got this and 3 E it'll be, so it's a 16th note. 1, 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and up. Okay, it's fairly tricky. I'll do it again really slowly. 1, 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Oh man, sounds so good. Although guitar is definitely a little bit dirty for this song to be playing. I feel like I'm dirtying Malcolm's part by putting too much distortion on, because it is a very clean, that's one of the secrets of acdc, is the very clean, much cleaner than you anticipate sounds. It's a very loud Marshall, not a very distorted one. So I shall make sure in future when I'm doing Mal's parts I turn in fact I can turn the volume down a little bit. That'll sort out the same, give me a little bit cleaner sound anyway. So I digress. Hopefully you saw there the verse progression, because it's just repeating around that same thing, and it's all about the rhythm and making sure that rhythm is tight. AC/DC stuff is all about the rhythm being really, really together, that the whole band are playing their rhythm parts at exactly the same time. That's what makes it lock in and sound so massive when they play. So you really want to concentrate on that. You know, playing along with the original recording is definitely where it's at for those things, and trying to get the feeling like you're in the band. That's really a key thing. So that's actually the parts for the majority of the song, okay? There's a few variations. Again, you listen to the original recording, you need to pick those things up, where Mal's picking out the notes individually or sometimes playing the chords. That's all fine. The solo's got a couple of interesting things I'll point out for those of you that can't kind of hear it on their own. The solo is simply A, G, D with an F sharp bass. Starts off everything on the beat, so just A, G, D with an F sharp bass. Okay, and then it does it 4 times just real straight, and then we've got this little kind of delay on the G and the D, where we've got 1, 2, 3 E and 4 E and 1, 2, 3 E and 4 E and And it sounds to me like Mal does it once the first time round, the rest of the band go wicked, and then they join in for the second, third, and fourth times. That's what it sounds like to me. Don't know if it actually happened like that on the recording. But yeah, that's important to get those rhythm parts under the Malcolm's lead solo if you're going to play in a band or you want to play along with the original recording. A lot of people just, I'm probably guilty of this as much as anyone. When I was playing these kind of songs on my own along with the recording, when it came to the solo bits, I'd just go off wailing, and so I didn't pay as much attention to the rhythm parts as I probably should have, because holding those rhythms down and making them real solid and really tight is a very, very important part of playing guitar, being solid with your rhythms, So that's the first solo. Then we're into the For Those About to Rock part. And we have this B, for those about to rock. Wow. Can't sing this for some reason. Anyway, it's B chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. G, G, D, F sharp bass, A. For those about to rock. Wow. About to rock. For last time, G to A. Then we're into this great rhythm. Another classic kind of Mal riff. Okay, it's just eighth notes. We've got those little accents coming in again, which I'm going to have to rely on you, picking up some of the accent parts yourself. So pay attention to where the chords are changing. I'll count through it now nice and slow. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the G is coming on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, 3, 4. The D is coming on beat 4, and the A is coming the and after 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, lovely parts those, getting those accent parts, in the right place. Really good on working on your dynamics and your pick control. There's a lot of lessons to be learned in just even a simple riff like that. So definitely be checking that out. At the end, we go through a little section as well where we're playing tremolo notes as well. So just a B to A, G, D with F sharp bass, boom. Just a little B chord with a little gliss at the end. I mean, this is a great song for working on lots of different techniques and stuff. You've got all your palm muting, you're getting your chords right, locking into the grooves correctly, making sure you're aware of the rhythmic differences between the different rhythm parts and that you're playing the right one at the right time. And also remembering a pretty long arrangement. If you're going to play along this with the original recording all of the way through without a chart, there's a lot of bits to remember. Is it going to do this or is it going to do that? That's a very good skill unto itself, especially for any of you that are either playing in bands or aspire to be playing in bands, covers bands or whatever. So lots of great stuff to learn this. I really hope that you've enjoyed this, and I'll be back for plenty more ACDC very, very soon. R.I.P. Malcolm Young. You're a legend, man. We won't forget. Bye-bye.